Welcome to my virtual world. I'm Marie and it's so lovely to be with you. Whenever you're feeling tired and depleted and haven't got the energy to even think about exercise, give this gentle side-lying restorative series a go. It's also perfect for pregnant women and a great practice on those stifling hot summer days. And although it's a series to practice at any time of the day, it really comes into its own as an evening practice to relax and calm down a tired but wired body and mind. This side-lying series offers us a really relaxed way to work through familiar poses with a different relationship to gravity. Because practicing the yoga poses on our side is a less familiar movement pattern, it tests the central nervous system in different ways too. The neurological systems of interoception, which is the ability to sense, feel and understand what's going on inside the body, and the system of proprioception, which is the body's ability to perceive its own position in space, will be disrupted as we turn to one side. This confuses the brain and nervous system and helps to reset movement patterns. It's another brain challenge as we fire those neurological pathways from brain to tissues and from tissues to brain from a very different angle or perspective. So let's move, motivate and meditate as we gently recline on our side.
So let's make sure we're completely aligned and comfortable on our right side. We're going to be here for about 15 minutes, so make sure you have enough padding under the right shoulder and hip. Bring a folded towel, a blanket or a low pillow under the neck and head so that they are perfectly aligned with the spine. You don't want it too high or too low. Although we're going to relax here, don't be in the fetal position with your body all curled into center. Bring the ears in line with the shoulders, in line with the hips. Line up the trunk, neck and head so it's parallel to the long front edge of your mat. Knees bent up to about hip height. Maybe they won't get to hip height, but bring them as close to hip height as possible. Shins at about a right angle to the thighs so that you can just view and peek at your toes. You want to be on the top of your arm, the deltoid muscle, rather than the back of the shoulder, so that the shoulder sits directly over the left shoulder sits directly over the right shoulder and the left hip is directly over the right hip. Bring the arms and hands together in front of you at shoulder height, and once we've got into our aligned position, just relax and be heavy and surrender the full body weight to gravity in the earth. And let's just pause to feel your ability to let go in this position. Maybe it's second nature because you sleep on your side, or does it feel like a very strange position to relax in? As we relax here, just bring the awareness round and feel what's going on in the body, feeling your energy levels and letting the breath settle. Starting to feel the breath move into a more rhythmical, deeper breathing pattern as you let go, as you come into your central nervous system, out of that fight and flight. As we relax here, we're going to try sliding our left hand along the forearm beyond the right hand and then pull it back again. So let's pull that hand back up towards the elbow, that left hand, and then leading with the hand, let's slide it forward and then pull it back, forward and back, feeling the upper body rotating forward as the hand moves beyond the right hand on the floor, and then rotating back as the left hand pulls back towards the elbow joint. Be as relaxed and as easy as possible so that this action that's in the upper body can send a reaction through the spine and the pelvis. Feel what's going on. Now just bring the shoulders and arms back to the first position, and let's try sliding with the thighs. First, slide the left thigh forward, feeling the left knee shunt beyond the right knee as the pelvis rocks forward. Then, initiating the movement from the legs, I want you to draw the right femur, the thigh bone, back and feel the pelvis sway backwards. Slide the left thigh forwards and back. As you relax, feel this isolated movement sending a reaction through the body like a wave. It should feel quite nice. Come back to the first position. Now let's try pushing with arm and thigh forward and back in one movement, as if the left side of the trunk was fused as one. The left shoulder and hip pull as far forward as each other and then as far back in one movement, forward and back. Feel the rotation. This swaying, rocking action can be extremely soothing to the nervous system. And anybody with sacroiliac dysfunction or hip maladies find if they lie on the affected side and do this sliding action, it can bring great relief to the affected joint. You can in fact alternate so that when the upper body pushes forward, the lower body pulls back. You might even like to pause the video and try this movement on your own. But for now, we're going to move on to the next movement. So from here, just bring the hands together, knees together, and feel that position. Now, keeping the left arm and the body completely relaxed, as you breathe in, we're going to open the arm gently back behind you, turning the head to follow the movement of the arm. And as you breathe out, bring it all the way forward and back, completely relaxing. When the arm comes back, the left arm comes back to the right. Let go on the breath out. Let's see if we can continue this movement. Breathing in, open that arm back behind you, follow it with the head. Breathing out, coming back to the right hand on the floor and completely relaxing. You might choose to slide the left hand up the arm and along the chest to rotate back and take the arm back behind you if that feels more comfortable, but keep that left arm and hand completely passive. Just use the bare minimum amount of movement to do this action. And on the next breath in, let's pause with the arm back behind us. See if you can surrender the weight of the left shoulder and arm to gravity. You might even want to bend the arm at the elbow and bring the hand on the waist if it's too much of a tug on the shoulder, no strain. Just breathing here and allowing the joints to open as you let go and breathe and surrender to gravity. Now, to come back, if your shoulder's willing and comfortable to do so, we're going to arc the arm all the way over the top of the head, round to the right arm and hand in front of you. And as you breathe in, arc it all the way over the top of the head and back behind you again. Go very gently, especially if you've got shoulder problems and issues. Breathing in, arc it all the way back behind you, turning the head to look down that left arm. Breathing out, bring it all the way round and back in front, over the top of the head. The movement over and back, over the top of the head, and then over the top of the head to bring the arm forward. And then on the next breath out, let's just relax with both hands on top of the other, with the left shoulder on top of the right, the left hip on top of the right. Feel your position. Bring your awareness down to the pelvis now, and let's have a go at pelvic rocking from a sideline position. We've done this rocking action lying on our back, we've done it kneeling down, we've done it standing up in previous videos. So let's have a go at rocking from a sideline position. It will have a very different feel. Breathing out, tuck the tail under and feel the buttocks moving together, rounding the lower back slightly. Breathing in, push the tail up and back, feeling the buttocks spread and broaden as you arc the lower back. Away you go. But we want to centre the movement by working the front and the back body evenly. Don't do all the movement with the lower back muscles. As you breathe out and tuck the tail under, engage the abdominal muscles back to the spine. And as you breathe in and push the tail back, we want to engage the hip flexors by having a feeling of drawing the knees up to the chest. Engaging the hip flexors in this manner on the front of the body will take some of the load from the lower back. Feel this movement. Feel which muscles are working. Let's come back to a neutral position now and feel our position. Is the left shoulder on top of the right? Are the hips aligned on top of each other? Let the legs be at a right angle, head and neck in line with the spine. As you breathe in, keeping the thighs together, lift the left lower leg up. Breathing out, lower down and completely relax and let go. On the next breath in, keeping the feet together, lift the left knee and leg away from the right. On the breath out, relax the leg down and completely let go. Keep going, alternating between external and internal rotation of the top of the legs as you breathe in and relax down on the breath out. As you lift the lower leg up, feel the internal rotation and adduction of the left leg. Feel the hip naturally hike up. As you lift the left knee up and feel the opposite movement at the top of the leg as it externally rotates and abducts. With each breath out, relax completely in between the two movements. Now on the next breath out, as we lower those knees down, let's pause. Feel your alignment again. Feel that the shoulders are on top of each other and the hips are directly over each other. Now from here, we're going to open, keeping the left leg in that right angle, open the whole leg up without rolling the hip completely back behind you. And as you breathe out, lower the leg back down. Breathing in, swing that left leg up and back. Breathing out, come down. Breathing in, swing the leg up and back. Now pause here and start to do a circling action. 3 circles one way with the knee. Draw the circle with the knee. 3 circles the other. Make the circle as big as your hip can comfortably draw. And then on the next breath out, lower that knee down. Can you keep the right knee bent up? In fact, you might want to pull it a little bit higher if you can towards the chest as you straighten the left leg down along the mat now, bringing the ankle, the knee in line with the hip so that the ears, shoulders, hips, knee and ankle are all forming a line of force through the left side of the body. You might need to as I said, hike that right knee higher to keep the pelvis stable. So keep the buttocks tucking under. You don't want to counterbalance and stick the pelvis back. Now from here, can you reach the left arm overhead? So you bring that line of force through from the fingers to the heel now, right through the left side of the body. Now keeping the right shoulder on top of the left shoulder on top of the right, the left hip on top of the right, we're going to see, can we push the left thigh further back and the right arm further back behind us so that we form a crescent moon shape through the left side of the body. Don't let that left shoulder or left hip roll back, and it'll want to. Keep them stacked perfectly on top of the right. From here, move your left arm back behind you as you bend the left leg at the knee. We want to take hold of either the ankle or the top of the left foot with the left hand. If there's any knee congestion or pain, please use a strap or a towel to hook over the foot. No knee pain. This is a quadricep, a hip flexor opening at the front of that left thigh, not a knee strainer. So from here, we want to see if we can draw that left heel any closer to the buttocks as we push the left thigh further back behind us. But when we make that movement, don't let the tail push back. Don't arc the back of the waist. Keep the tail tucking under. Keep the right knee pulling up towards the chest to give a bit more pelvic stability. Breathe into the front of the left thigh. That's the area we're targeting. And for many of you, this area is really tight. These quadricep muscles and psoas muscle that we're stretching now get very congested with all the sitting for extended periods that we do. So this is a fantastic counter stretch for that dysfunction. From here, let's just gently release that leg down. And we're going to try straightening both legs out along the mat. You might have to bend the left arm at the elbow and bring the hand to the floor in front of the chest because balance will be a bit risque. You can in fact keep the right knee bent up if that feels more comfortable and more balanced for you. That's okay too. But we'll challenge you a little bit with balance. See if we can balance perfectly on our side without forming a banana shape with the body. Keep the ears over the shoulders, in line with the hips, in line with the knees and the ankles, all parallel with the front of the mat. As you breathe in, we're going to really activate the lower leg into the ground, really activate the abdomen by keeping the tail tucking under, and we're going to lift the left leg up, keeping it really straight, but we're going to do that internal rotation of the leg and the thigh down towards the mat, turning the knee and the toes and foot to look down slightly. Keeping the leg back now in line with the hip. It'll want to pull forward. We're going to do a pulsing action. Are you ready? Keep the leg in the plane of the body. We want to be in one single plane. Are you ready to lift up and lower to this position? As you breathe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pause. Are you ready to go again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pause. Lower that leg down. You might even want to bend the knees slightly and just pummel the fist into the back of the buttocks that we've been contracting to make the lift. Give your bum a bit of a rub. Yeah. From here, let's get that alignment again, straightening both legs out along the mat. We've just had the legs slightly internally rotated so we could work the back of the pelvis and the buttocks. Now we're going to externally rotate the legs so we can open up the front of the pelvis. So let's bend the left leg at the knee and bring the sole of the left foot in front of the right leg, either the knee or the thigh in front of you. Turn the left toes down to the bottom of the mat and see how well you can bring that left knee back behind you without letting the left buttocks push back. Can you feel how they want to? Tuck that tail under so you get more opening through the front of that left thigh and pelvis. Can you feel that? Again, you want to make yourself as narrow as possible, keeping the knee and the left thigh in that plane of the body. Some of you will find this quite challenging if you've got congestion in the hips. So do what you can. Now again, we're going to see if we can take this hip opening to the next level. Can you reach that left leg up and straighten it? You might have to have the right knee bent in order to balance. But if you're working with straight legs, really activate that right leg that's grounding. Reach into the heel and push the leg into the floor as you draw that left leg. Take hold of it and draw the leg towards you. You might only be able to catch the back of the knee or the thigh. You might be able to hold the big toe. You might have to have a towel or a strap to hold the foot. See how well you can keep the perfect alignment, the pelvis stable, the core switched on as you draw that leg over. This is quite a difficult balance as much as anything else, as well as a leg stretch and a hip opener. Keep that leg turned out at the hip. And then from there, let's lower that leg down. Well done. Let's push the legs in a striding action apart now. So you're going to stride your right leg back behind you, the bottom leg. Stride it back behind you. And you're going to push the left leg, the top leg, as far forward as you've strode the right leg back so that both legs are equidistant from your centre line. Push into the heels and pull the toes towards you so that the legs are really straight. You want to make sure that the left hip is still sitting on top of the right hip and it hasn't been pulled forward with that left leg. Now from here, reach both arms in front of you, one hand on top of the other, neck and head long. Now, keeping a reach into the legs, you want the legs to stay active. We're going to try a really lovely diagonal stretching action, but go gently if you're working with shoulder grumbles. Do not force on the shoulders. Very, very gently now. As you breathe in, we're arcing the arm all the way, the left arm all the way over the top of the head and back to the shoulder level behind you. And on the breath out, arc that left arm all the way back to the right arm in front of you. Away you go. Breathing in, moving behind, breathing out, rotating in front. Keep those legs, both legs active. Toes pulling towards you, reach into the heel. Feel the point of most stretch along the arc. It will be different for everybody as you arc. And on the next breath in, as you take that arm back behind you, just pause. Again, seeing if you can surrender to gravity. Now we're going to, as we breathe out, just move to that point of most stretch along the arc. Don't strain though. Where's that point of most stretch? Go easily towards it. It might be where you are at shoulder level. It might be more of a diagonal with the leg. And just stay here and breathe. You might even want to make a micro movement either side of that point of most stretch. You might experiment between reaching into the arm and foot and then relaxing and letting go of both leg and foot before re-extending. Go gently. And on the next breath in, open back to shoulder level if you'd moved the arm from it. And on the breath out, circle the arm all the way round in front. From here, we're going to roll onto the back body now and bend the knees up and ground the arms at the side of the body. Bring the pillow or the blanket out from under the head. And you might even want to bring it between the legs for a bridge pose series. We're going to do a bilateral movement now using both sides of the body to balance up the nervous system and the spine before rotating or rolling over to the opposite, the left side. So let's get ourselves aligned for a bridge pose series. Feet and legs hip width apart, toes tracking forward, heels pointing back, arms to the side of the trunk. Breathing in, take the arms over. And on the breath out, as you lower the arms down, raise the pelvis, waist, ribs and chest up. And as you breathe in, the arms are going to come over as you lower the ribs, the waist and the pelvis down. Away you go. Feeling that the arms and the pelvis are finishing their movement at exactly the same moment. At the end of the breath in, at the end of the breath out. Feel that wave action rippling through the spine. Arcing the spine one way as you breathe in, moving in the opposite way on the breath out. At the end of the next breath out, as the arms come to ground and the pelvis lifts, let's just pause to interlock the fingers or the arms at the elbows behind the back. And let's just breathe here. Grounding those feet into the earth, grounding those arms into the earth, and seeing if you can breathe and open through the front body. And on the next breath in, release the hands, and as you breathe out, roll the ribs, the waist, and the pelvis down. Bend the knees to the chest, hold the shins. Curl the head to the knees on the breath out as you draw the thighs to the trunk. And on the breath in, lengthen the head down, ground both feet on the floor together, open the arms out to shoulder level. And let's just do that gentle rolling twist. Breathing in, roll the knees to the right as you turn your head to the left. Breathing out, Roll the knees to the left as you turn your head to the right. Breathe and roll and twist and feel. And on the next roll over to the left, roll all the way over so that we come into the position on our left side with the folded blanket or towel under the neck and head to bring the neck and head in line with the rest of the spine. With the ears over the shoulders, or not over the shoulders, in line with the shoulders, in line with the hips, with the knees bent up, knees coming towards hip height, shins at a right angle, so that you can just glance at the toes. One arm on top of the other. Feel for that perfect side lying position. And let's just pause here. And let's just feel here. Let's just relax here. Does this relaxing on the left side have a very different feel to relaxing on the right? Again, don't judge, just feel. Just breathing here. Letting go with each breath out. Letting the body melt. Again, not anticipating what's coming. Just be in this moment. Relaxing on your side with nothing to do. Remember, the final position isn't the ultimate goal. Each movement, each breath is as important as the final position. It's the journey towards that position that's just as important. So let's start that rocking and sliding movement of the upper body. So let's bring the right hand back towards the elbow before sliding the right hand along that left forearm beyond the left hand. Away you go. Feel the rotation of the upper body back and forward. Be really relaxed and easy with the movement. Move slowly and deliberately, feeling, although the action's in the upper body, feel the reaction it's sending down through the rest of the body. Know that this movement is initiated from the hand. Now let's bring both hands together and settle that right shoulder on top of the left. And let's move the awareness to the pelvis and do that same forward and backwards rotation of the pelvis by sliding that right thigh forward, shunting the right knee beyond the left, and then sliding it back, knowing that the movement's initiated from the thighs. Feel the pelvis. Move forward, rotate forward and back. But feel as you relax and stay heavy, the movement moving up through the spine, into the shoulders, neck and head. Now let's bring the thighs, one on top of the other again, back into the first position. And let's try moving both upper body and lower body in unison. Breathing, slide the right arm and thigh forward, and then pull back. Away you go. Feel the swaying, rocking action. It's a slow, gentle, swaying, rocking action. That's why it's so soothing to the nervous system. Get into a gentle rhythm with it as you breathe, as you relax, as you stay heavy. Feel how much movement there are through the joints of the pelvis and the shoulders and the rib cage and the spine. And then bring both knees back to center. Both hands back to center. Just settle and feel your alignment. And as you breathe in, we're opening that right arm as far back behind us as we can. And on the breath out, bringing the right arm back in front of us on top of the left. Away you go. Follow the arm's movement with the head as you breathe in, back behind you as you breathe out, coming back to the first position. Remember, you can slide the fingers along the body to unfurl the arm back behind you if that feels more comfortable and more relaxing for you. On the next breath in, as you open that right arm back behind you, pause and let gravity take the arm and the shoulder, the weight of the arm and the shoulder down towards the earth. With each breath out, feel that body opening into the rotation. If it's too strong, you can bend the arm at the elbow and bring the hand to the side of the waist, so there's not as much weight drawing on the shoulder and arm. Now, from here, if your shoulder is willing, go gently. We're going to arc that right arm all the way over the top of the head, round to the left arm in front as you breathe out. And as you breathe in, arc it all the way over and back behind you once more. Away you go, feeling for the point of most stretch along that arc, going super gently. Breathing in, arcing all the way over the top of the head and back behind you. Breathing out, coming back in the same arc, back in front of you. And on the next deep breath out, let's just pause. And again, let's bring the awareness to our alignment first, and then move the awareness down to the pelvis. And we're going to do that pelvic rock this time as we lie on our left side. So start by tucking the tail under. As you breathe out, rounding the back of the waist, breathing in, tip the pelvis in the opposite direction, pushing the tail up and back behind you. Away you go. Again, make sure you're engaging the abdominal muscles. As you breathe out, draw the abdomen muscles back towards the spine. As you breathe in and tip the pelvis back and spread the buttocks, engage those hip flexors at the thigh crease, you'll feel it. Keep going. It really does feel like you wanting to draw the knees up to the chest as you push the tail back behind you. And again, feel how much movement is emanating from that pelvic rock. The actions there, but the reactions being sent through the rest of the spine. And then come back to the first position, that neutral pelvis, where it's neither tilted back or forward. And let's start that internal and external rotation of that right thigh now. As you breathe in, lift the lower leg up. And as you breathe out, lower it down. Relax and let go. Breathing in, keep the feet together and lift the knee and the thigh up. And as you breathe out, lower the knee and thigh down. Completely relax at the end of the breath out. Away you go. Alternating between the lower leg lifting and that internal rotation, and then the upper leg, the whole leg lifting and the external rotation. Remember, relax and let go at the end of each breath out as the leg comes down before initiating the movement on the breath in. And on the next breath out, let both legs come down, keeping the pelvis as stable as possible. The right hip on top of the left. We're going to lift the whole leg, the right leg up now in this right angle position. Breathing in, reach the leg up and back as far as you can comfortably go. And on the breath out, come all the way down to the left leg on the floor. Breathing in, lifting up. Breathing out, coming down. Breathing in, lifting up, pause at the top, and try drawing that circle with the right knee now, as big a circle as you can. 3 big circles one way, 3 big circles the other. Feel the movement deep in the hip, no hip strain. Adjust the size of the circles, and on the next breath out, let's come down to the first position. Keeping that left knee bent up, reach the right leg out along the mat so that the knee and the ankle are now in line with the hip and parallel to the long front edge of your mat. Push into the heel and pull the toes towards you and bring the inner edge of that right foot to the floor. Really feeling that you've got the leg active and switched on. Now let's bring the right arm overhead and reach that right arm in that line of force so that the fingers are in line with the right shoulders, in line with the right hip, knee and ankle. Feel that line of force, the whole line parallel with the long front edge of your mat. Now, without pushing the right shoulder or the right hip back, can you move the right arm any further back behind the ear? Can you move the right thigh and leg any further back behind you? Don't bend the leg at the knee to make that movement there. How much can you come into that crescent moon shape through the right side without throwing the right hip and shoulder back, which it wants to? Breathe here, feel the opening. Now on the breath out, lower that right arm down as you bend the right leg at the knee. And if you can, catch hold of either the ankle or the top of the right foot. Use a towel or a strap to take hold of the foot if there's knee discomfort or you can't quite hold. Now, remember we want to keep the pelvis stable for this quadricep stretch. So keep the left knee hugging up towards the chest. If it can come any higher than hip level, do so. That will keep the pelvis more stable. Draw the right heel towards you as you push the right thigh back. You don't want to roll that right hip back. Keep the right hip on top of the left. If anything, it can even come slightly forward of the left hip as you push that thigh back. But don't let it roll back. Keep the tail tucking. Stay here and breathe. Go gently if it feels super tight. Just breathe here, maintaining the stretch in a gentle, easy, persistent way, not being forceful or aggressive. And then we're going to release that right leg. And if you can, and you don't have to, you can keep the left knee bent up if that's more comfortable for you. But if you want to challenge the balance aspect, reach both legs out along the mat now, pushing into both heels. And because balance is tricky if you're perfectly aligned, you will want to push your buttocks back and your head forward as a sort of counterbalance. So keep the ears in line with the shoulders, in line with the hips, in line with the ankles. Keep the right shoulder on top of the left, the right hip on top of the left. Okay, really activate that left grounded leg now. Push into the heel and ground the left leg into the floor. Bring the right hand in front of the chest to help balance. Now, as you breathe in, raise that right leg up, but slightly internally rotate the leg so that the toes and the knees start to look down at the floor. Keeping the right leg in the plane of the left, you don't want that right leg to push forward. Can you pulse it for a count of 10? Up and back to this position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pause. Feel the contraction with each pulse in the buttocks. Again, away we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pause. And on the next breath out, lower that leg all the way down. You can bend both knees, especially that top knee forward, and roll forward slightly as you pummel into the back of the buttock to release all that contraction. Now realign. Push into both legs. And can you bend the right leg at the knee now and bring the right foot in front of the left leg? Hopefully by the knee or the thigh. It doesn't have to be that high. Turn the right toes down to look at the bottom of the mat and open that right knee and thigh back in that line of the body. Trying to be as narrow as you can be. Feel the external rotation of the hip now. Feel the front of the thigh looking towards the ear. Keep that knee moving up and back behind you. Keep the tail tucking so that you bring the opening through the front of the pelvis. If you let the buttocks push back, you'll not get the stretch through the front of the pelvis. As you tuck the tail under and bring the pelvis to neutral, can you feel that opening as you open the thigh back behind you? Now let's take it to the next stage. Let's see if we can straighten that right leg up towards the vertical. You can bend the left leg at the knee if that feels balance is a little bit easier for you, but you'll have to really activate that left leg. Keep it active. Keep the tail tucking so that the core's switched on to balance in this pose. Keep the right leg turned at the hip. Now, if you can draw the right leg any closer towards the ear, do so. Draw it down. Really breathe here, activating both legs, reaching into both heels. And on the breath out, just release that leg if you didn't roll back or forward. Don't worry, that's the worst that can happen. You can roll onto your back or roll onto your belly as you lose balance in this. Just play with balance, have fun with it. Now from here, we're going to stride the left leg back. Push that straight left leg back behind you, pushing into the heel, keeping the leg really straight. Now, slide the right leg that as far forward as the left leg's pushed back. So your bottom leg is back behind you, your top leg is pushed in front of you. The legs are really straight, no bent knees. You're reaching into the heels and you're pulling the toes towards you. The legs are really active. And remember, you want your right hip on top of your left. Don't let it push forward. Now, bring both hands in front of you, right hand on top of the left. As you breathe in, arc the arm, the right arm, all the way over the top of the head and back behind you. And as you breathe out, arc the right arm all the way over and back in front. Go slowly and gently. Don't overreach. Keep going. Feeling for the point of most stretch along the arc, keeping those legs fully active so you can feel that delicious diagonal stretch from that right arm right through the right side of the body into the right leg. Now, on the next breath in, as you open the arm back behind you, let's just pause here. And as you breathe out, can you bring that right arm to the point of most stretch? It might be where you ended. It might be more of a diagonal. Where's the point of most stretch or resistance along that arc? And again, you might experiment by stretching out at that point into right leg and foot and back into the right arm, and then relaxing and letting go, and then repeating the stretch. You might just move in a micro movement either side of that point of most resistance, seeing if you can just gently release it. And then on the breath in, just open the arm back to shoulder level if it was moved from that point. And on the next breath out, circle the arm all the way back in front of you. Let's come into that another bilateral movement now. We're going to come onto our hands and knees for the cat-cow curl, for the vibrancy flex. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Hopefully you should feel really quite chilled now and relaxed. Let's breathe in, tip the tail up, pubis back, navel and ribs down, open the chest, reach the chin forward. Breathe out, tuck the tail as you lift the pubis, navel, ribs and chest and pull the chin in. Away you go. How much fluidity have you got through the spine? Through the pelvis, through the shoulders, through that neck and head. Breathing the spine, not being in a rush, taking your time. And then on the next breath in, find a neutral line. Now moving from the navel, we're just moving the pelvis now. Let's do that tail wag. Pushing your hips first round to the left and then in a semicircle all the way round to the right. Remember, keep the upper body still and just move from the navel. How much movement can you get? As you swing the hip to the right, feel the right side contract as the left side of the trunk opens, and then reverse as you swing the hips the opposite way. Now move into a full circle using the whole body. 3 big fluid circles one way, 3 big fluid circles the other. Now, can you turn the toes under? In fact, you might choose, we're going to do a dog down if you want to, and you might choose to just push back into cradle from here. As you breathe out with those toes turned under and the feet hip width apart, open back into a really nice dog down. Remember, keep it gentle and easy, but push up from those hands and let's start a pedaling action. And again, feel that motion in the pelvis and feel the swaying and the twisting of the pelvis as you bend the knees, move through the rest of the spine, through the shoulder girdle, as you move in a relaxed, easy manner. Then can you rock onto the toes of both feet, bend the knees, lift the sit bones, flatten the back. Are you pushing up from the whole hand into the outer hips? Now, on the breath out, reach both heels down. Keep the knees bent if the back wants to round. You want the back to be nice and flat. Breathe and reach and stretch. Be easy with this dog down. Don't labour over it. If you're labouring over it, come down in cradle. Everybody now, on the breath in, don't collapse down though. Start to bend the knees wide, out to the side, bringing both knees down to the mat simultaneously. Bring the big toes together, and as you breathe out, push the buttocks back to the heels as you open the abdomen, ribs and chest through the thighs. Keep the shoulders moving away from the ears, and for a moment let's reach into the fingers, activating the arms, locking out the elbows, taking the arms as wide as you need out to the side to lock out those elbows. And then let go of the arms, completely relaxing the arms to gravity. And just stay here and breathe. The forehead should be grounded, and if it's not, bring a surface, a block or a folded blanket or your pillow if you're using one under the forehead. Just relaxing here, breathing here, feeling your body here, feeling from the inside, feeling the wave of the breath moving through the spine. And on the next breath in, just gently start to walk the hands towards the knees as you lift the body up. The whole series we've done today has been a gentle, relaxed, easy series, and we're going to finish it with a lovely restorative pose for Prita Karani, where we take our legs up the wall and raise our pelvis off the floor onto a surface. So have whatever you've got. If you've got a bolster and blocks, bring them. If you've got a folded blanket, have that available. You want the blanket under the back of the pelvis, and you want the legs and the buttocks as close to the wall as you can muster. And you can try just bringing the legs up the wall first and then pushing into the wall, lifting the pelvis up and sliding your surface under. You want the surface, the raised surface, away from the wall a couple of inches so that the whole of the pelvis can relax over and the tail can drop down slightly into the gap. Now we want the legs to be ideally against the wall, but if you're very tight in the legs, that might not happen. So you might have the legs leaning quite heavily away from the wall. Ideally the legs should be straight, but again, if that's not comfortable on your knees or legs, you can bend the legs at the knees and just ground the feet on the wall. Make sure that you're comfortable in this position and that there's no lower back discomfort. And remember, any women that are menstruating, this isn't a position to do when you're on your period. You might choose to do a relaxed forward bend, supported either on a chair or a bolster. We're going to bring the hands onto the belly and just relax the shoulders down and just check that you've got a central line running through the body, through the trunk and the legs into the neck and head. bringing the hands onto the belly so you can feel the belly expand gently on the breath in and contract back to the spine on the breath out. Just be aware of that rise and fall once you've settled into position. Lowering the gaze and closing the eyes. And remember, it might take a little while to settle into a position. You might even have to pause the video to get into a comfortable position. But know that it's worth taking time to get comfortable for any restorative pose. You need to be comfortable in order to relax. Lower the gaze and close the eyes and bring the attention in. Just staying with the wave of the breath. And with each breath out, allowing the body to melt. Obviously, we've got to keep some energy moving into the legs to keep them up the wall, but no more than is needed. If you completely let go of the legs, they just collapse towards the trunk, away from the wall. But we don't want the legs switched on any more than they have to be. Just relax. Just be easy. Stay with the breath. And know that this is a hugely calming pose. Calming down the whole body system. Bringing you deep into self. And we're going to start a breathing exercise where we deepen the breath out. And we've done this before in these viral videos. And we're going to do it now. And it's like a double whammy for calming the central nervous system down. Extending the exhale is very calming to body and mind, as is this legs up the wall pose. So let's just take a deep breath in through the nose. And as we breathe out, we're going to sound that breath out in a sound, pushing the breath out and the sound out for as long as we can. Just close the mouth and breathe in through the nose at the end of the breath out, and away you go again. Sounding the breath out, pushing the air over the tongue, through the teeth, through the lips, closing the lips as you breathe in through the nose. How long can you keep the sound going for? Can you keep the breath out flowing for? Breathing in, breathing out. Hear the volume of the sound you're making. Feel the volume of airflow over the tongue and through the teeth. Keep the volume of the noise and the volume of the airflow the same from the start of the breath out to the end of the breath out. At the end of the breath out, when you feel there's no air left in the lungs, there's always air in the lungs. So give an extra little push without being too forceful before taking a breath in. So it'll be a s, and then at the end, a s. Just give that extra little push out. We really want to exchange the air deep in the lungs now. Keep going. Don't be too forceful, and as with all pranayama, all controlled breathing exercises, if you become uncomfortable or agitated or breathless, you always just come back to normal breathing. Stay easy and gentle with this exercise, keeping the upper body completely relaxed. Don't let tension creep into the chest or the neck, the throat or the face. Make the next breath out the last in the extended exhales. And then just allow the breath to settle into a natural rhythm. But stay with the breath, feeling the gentle expansion of the breath in, the gentle contraction of the breath out. Did any tension creep in during that conscious breathing exercise? Let go of any tension in the face, the throat, the jaw, the chest. Keep circling the awareness round to feel, to let go of tension that you become aware of. On the next breath out, just bend those knees down to the chest. Bring the feet to the wall. Push into the wall so you can lift the pelvis and slide the surface from underneath the pelvis, if you had one. Bringing the pelvis down to ground level. Now, with the pelvis at ground level, just bring the feet back to the wall again. Just gently push the feet into the wall, and with the same gentle pressure, just push the back of the pelvis into the floor. Even pressure on feet and pelvis, grounding into the feet, grounding into the back of the pelvis. Just opening up the lower back, breathing down to the tailbone, feeling the wave of the breath. And on the next breath out, bend the knees to the chest, hold the shins. Just ease yourself gently away from the wall now, so you can bring your feet down to ground level without stubbing your toes against the skirting board or the wall. Open the arms out to shoulder level, and let's do a gentle rolling twist. Breathing in, roll the knees to the right as you turn your head to the left. Breathing out, roll the knees to the left as you turn your head to the right. Just stay with that breathing, rolling twist, feeling as you roll. You can choose to lie flat on the floor from here and just relax in Shavasana, or you can roll all the way over on the next roll over to the right and just gently come up.
If you've done this series as a daytime practice, enjoy the rest of your day, hopefully from a calmer perspective. If you've done this series as an evening practice, you wished a really good night's sleep, and I hope you wake up restored and refreshed and ready to kick into the new day. Namaste, dear ones. Sending so much love, and remember, until the next viral video, 2 stretches every waking hour.